OCO, my name is Shanice DeCloud. I work for the Cherokee Nation Cultural Resource Center. The following video is part of our new education series geared toward assisting teachers set up their own cultural activities in the classroom. We're going to teach y'all stickball. So stickball is a game that we have played for hundreds of years. And if you look at these sticks, you notice they might look a little familiar. If anybody's familiar with lacrosse. Okay. So lacrosse is a game that the French invented after they came to North America and saw Native Americans playing stickball. They thought, well, that looks like fun. We want to take that home and make it our own. A lot of different tribes play a version of stickball. Tribes in the Northeast would have played that version with the single hoop, the single stick. It would have had a much larger hoop. That's kind of where you get lacrosse from. As you move farther west, you start to see two sticks. Now, Cherokees are originally from the southeast part of the country, so southeast part of North America. So around modern day North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, those areas. Now, in that area, we had a few different tribes that were our neighbors. They were also tribes that were brought here to Indian Territory, or what's now Oklahoma. So you would have seen Cherokees, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Muskogee Creek, tribes like that in that same area. We had similar versions of stickball, so that made it real easy for us to get together and play against them. Now, originally, the game of stickball was called Ani Jodi, which meant little brother of war. And we called it that because we played as an alternative to going and fighting a big bloody battle and losing half of the men in our tribe. We'd get together with another tribe or another group of Cherokees, and we'd challenge them to a game. And whoever won that game, it wasn't disputed. They won. We could be fighting over hunting lands. So if the Choctaw won, that was their hunting lands. So a year might go by and we might decide we want to challenge them again, try again to get those lands. So that was what we used this game for. The original Ani Jodi game was played on a big open field about the size of a football field. On both ends of the field were two goal posts, and the goal of the game was to get the ball between those posts to score a point. This was only a game for men. Men used one stick in each hand, and they were trying to get this little bitty ball through those goal posts. Now, men usually grew up using these sticks, so they became like an extension of their arms. They could run. I've seen players run as fast as they can, reach down, scoop up that ball, and keep going. They were taught to use these from a very young age, so they were really good with them. A lot of students that we teach nowadays, the boys will complain and say, it's not fair because we don't know how to use them, we can't score a point. Well, that's just how Cherokees learned. They started out young. The modern day game that we play is called the social game, and it's played with a pole at the center of the field. Typically we have a fish at the top, a wooden fish. Some communities have a round ball, some communities have an animal skull, just depends on where you are. But Cherokees in our area typically use a fish. And the goal of this game is just like before, you're going to try to use these sticks and get this ball up there to hit that fish. Now the social game is played with men and women. We played this because it was a way for women to seek out their next husband. She was out there watching those guys to see who was running the fastest, who was the most agile, who was the strongest. Because for Cherokees, we were a matrilineal society, and that meant that women ran the household. They owned all the possessions. They owned all the belongings. The family name or the family clan passed down through the woman. So if your mother was Wolf Clan, that's what you were. It didn't matter what your dad was. And dads often went off on hunting parties to hunt for bear and never came home. He might have gone off to war with another tribe and not come home. So that woman was always looking for the next husband to find out who could feed her family. Traditionally in stickball, teams had to be even. So if you had 10 members on one team, you had to have 10 on the other. If a player was injured or hurt on one team, the other team had to lose a player to keep both sides even. Men or boys use the sticks. They cannot use their hands. Women do not use sticks. They only use their hands. But they are allowed to push and shove and do what they need to do to get the ball away from the men. Men cannot use the sticks as weapons. That is not allowed.
Wado for your time to learn about Cherokee culture and history. Share what you learned today with someone else. For more information, contact Cherokee Nation Education Services Cultural Resource Center at education@cherokee.org or 918-453-5000 and ask for education services.